Now, Buddhism seems to treat men and women differently, and some would say in totally different ways too. Men are treated, basically men and women are not treated equally in Buddhism. What do you think about that?
Well, in all human societies, I mean almost all human societies so far, we have this kind of gender discrimination. I don't know where it comes from, but I hope that we can do something about it. And Buddhism is no exception. We find that preference is given to males in the monasteries, in the colleges, in the schools, in Buddhist studies programs. That's why we have Sakyadhita, to try to raise awareness that the Buddha taught a path that was equally accessible to men and women. So we have to work to make sure that we implement the Buddha's teachings and provide equal access to the Dharma for men and women alike, beginning from boys and girls. And girls should be equally encouraged to practice the Dharma and to learn all they can, right? If it's such a beautiful path, why not make it open to everyone equally? So wherever we see discrimination or oppression, we should try to address it with wisdom, with compassion, and that's why we have Sakyadhita.
Now, you set up a non-profit organization,
Yes.
if I understood it correctly.
Right.
Jamyang.
Jamyang Foundation.
Yeah, what
yes.
does it do?
It provides educational opportunities for girls and women, including nuns, in developing countries. Many of our programs, we've started 15 educational programs in India. Most of them are for nuns up in the Himalayas, where women have very few or no educational opportunities. So we have study programs in all of these different monasteries. Some of the nuns are here at the Sakyadhita conference, and they've been studying for 20 years through our programs and developing as teachers for the society in general. And we have 3 schools in Bangladesh as well. We have scholarship programs. We've sent people to study in Thailand and in India, in Delhi University and so forth, other universities. So we try to help women to study and learn and hopefully to develop as teachers of Buddhism and as community resources for the community.
Now, Einstein once said Buddhism has the characteristics of what would be expected in a cosmic religion for the future. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think that there's certain universal values that are important for all human beings. Values like loving kindness and compassion, wisdom, and Buddhism really has a lot to offer this. For example, His Holiness the Dalai Lama often says, my religion is loving kindness. He says that people don't need to become Buddhists. If you're a Christian, be a good Christian. If you're a Muslim, be a good Muslim. If you're a Hindu, be a good Hindu, right? Or if you're a Jew, be a good Jew. But certain human values are common to all of us, right? We all want to be peaceful. We all want to be compassionate. We all want to be loving individuals. So in this way, because Buddhism teaches these wonderful human values without requiring someone to become a Buddhist, right? We don't care about membership. We care about human happiness. So remain, follow your own religion, but try to implement these values in daily life. That's the most important thing. No matter what label we give ourselves, if we call ourselves a Buddhist, but we're, violating people's rights, if we're unkind, if we're exploiting people in our business or in our family, then, that's a problem. We have to live up to our own values, right? Even if someone is not a Buddhist, but they live Buddhist values, that's good karma. And it will pay off in the future.
Where do we go when we die?
Depends on what you do in this lifetime. If you're a good, kind, ethical individual, then you'll have a good chance of being reborn as a human being, which is the best possible opportunity for spiritual development.
You met and learned from the Dalai Lama himself
Yes.
too, right?
Yes.
How did that happen?
Well, when I went to study in Dharamsala, he had set up a Tibetan library where Western people could learn Buddhism. It began in 1971. I arrived in 1972. And this was such a blessing because he arranged 3 hours a day of Buddhist teachings for us with a great teacher, right? So he looked after us, Western students, provided teachers and translators and a beautiful environment where we could learn Buddhism. So out of those classes came many wonderful Buddhist teachers and scholars. And he would also give public teachings periodically, frequently. And we can all attend and learn from him. And of course, we learn from his life too, because he's such a great example. I mean, since 1972, I've never seen one trace of self-interest in him. He's completely dedicated to other beings, helping others to create happiness and to be happier people and to practice the Dhamma. So I appreciate him very much. Wise and compassionate.
How can we implement Buddhist teachings in our everyday life?
Well, I think we should all meditate a little bit in the morning. Sit down for at least 5 minutes. 15 would be better. And get centered, relax, look inside, watch our breathing, and just settle down, because the world is going so quickly. Modern life has become so hectic. We have to take some time to look inside. If we don't, we'll just become as crazy as everybody else, running from here to there, you know, with no time to actually think about anything deeper in life.
But in here,
That's
it's
what
so
I mean.
hard to
is
stop
it here or
thinking.
is it here? Exactly.
It's so hard. Even if we sit, all right, I'm in one place, but it's so hard to stop thinking up here.
That's why we meditate, right? You sit down in the morning, you learn to take time to look inside. Watch your breathing, learn to concentrate, learn to focus. It's so important. It's so practical. Otherwise, we get carried away.
Do you have any special technique so that our mind will be here and now?
I recommend Anapanasati. Anapanasati means mindfulness of breathing. It's the simplest and most direct practice. It's the core of meditation practice in all Buddhist traditions. Simply watching the inflow and outflow of our own breathing. And we can count up to 10. It's so good for working people. It's so good for mothers. It's so good for senior citizens. It's so good for students. It's so good for everybody. It helps us to calm down, calm the mind, learn to keep the mind focused on one thing at a time.
Become more mindful with
mindful,
that.
Yes, and calmer, more serene, more peaceful. Less apt to fly off the handle, right? Less apt to get distracted, because we learn how to focus single-pointedly. And then I also recommend going for a 10-day meditation course now and again, at least once a year. We should. I think in Thailand here you can take a holiday and go for a meditation course. There's so many wonderful meditation centers in Thailand. No excuses, right? And a lot of them are free or by donation. Where in the United States you have to pay heaps of money to go to a meditation course. Here in Thailand, you can go for free. Isn't it wonderful, right? So you all have access. You all have this incredible cultural treasure. So it would be a shame to waste it.
อยากจะให้คุณแม่ให้คำแนะนำนิดนึงค่ะสำหรับคนที่อาจจะพยายามเข้าสู่พุทธศาสนาแต่ว่าอาจจะยังมาไม่ถึงสักทีเดียวเลยหรือว่าบางคนอาจจะมาถึงแล้วแต่ว่าเริ่มละนั่งสมาธิแต่นั่งไปได้แป๊บเดียวโอ้เลิกทำไม่ได้คุณแม่ใช้คำแนะนำคนเหล่านี้ยังไงดีคะ
คิดว่าสมาธิเนี่ยมันมีได้ทุกขณะไม่ใช่เฉพาะนั่งสมาธิค่ะเราต้องเข้าใจว่าสมาธิหมายถึงการรักษาจิตดูจิตให้ติดต่อให้จิตเนี่ยมีความบริสุทธิ์ตั้งมั่นและควรกับการงานในทุกกายเคลื่อนไหวใจตั้งมั่นถ้าเราบอกว่าสมาธิหมายถึงท่านั่งสมาธิเนี่ยเราอาจจะแคบไปและสมาธิที่ไม่เป็นสัมมาสมาธิอาจจะเป็นมิจฉาสมาธิก็ได้เป็นสมาธิกล่อมก็ได้คนที่มีสมาธิเนี่ยนะจะเป็นคนที่ร่าเริงว่องไวอยู่ในลมหายใจเข้าและออกอย่างมีสติอารักขาจิตและทำงานด้วยทุนของชีวิตคือจิตที่ไม่ขุ่นมัวแม่คิดว่าการปฏิบัติธรรมกับวิถีชีวิตประจำวันไม่ได้แยกออกจากกันเลยแทบจะเรียกว่าลมหายใจเดียวกันเลยถ้าเรามีลมหายใจแห่งสติแล้วสามารถที่จะใช้ได้ในทุกยูนิฟอร์มในทุกอิริยาบถทั้งกลางวันกลางคืนทั้งเวลาที่ทำงานและเวลาที่อาจจะพักผ่อนอย่ามองว่าต้องไปแยกตัวเองออกจากวิถีชีวิตประจำวันแล้วก็ต้องบอกว่าโอเวเคชั่นแล้วถึงจะไปปฏิบัติธรรมอันนี้มันก็ ดูจะปฏิบัติธรรมแบบอดๆอยากๆอ่ะ
ไม่ว่าจะเป็นผู้ชายผู้หญิงหรือว่าเพศไหนก็ตาม แล้วก็ไม่ว่าจะเป็นคนชาติไหนนะคะ ทุกคนที่ได้ศึกษาธรรมะพูดเหมือนกันหมดค่ะว่ามีประโยชน์กับชีวิตเขามากมายเหลือเกิน เพราะฉะนั้นถ้าเกิดว่าท่านผู้ชมยังไม่ได้มีโอกาสเริ่มศึกษาธรรมะลองดูนะคะแล้วเอามาปรับใช้กับชีวิตประจำวันแล้วจะรู้ค่ะว่าเราโชคดีเหลือเกินที่อยู่เมืองไทยมีของดีใกล้ตัวค่ะสัปดาห์หน้ากลับมาพบกันใหม่นะคะกับมองเรามองโลกวันนี้สวัสดีค่ะ